So Arizona has passed, Representative Ben Thomas sponsored and Governor Ducey has signed the most expansive school choice legislation in the history, not only of Arizona, but of the country. And essentially, this says that Arizona's Empowerment Scholarship Account Program, or ESA, which, just as a little bit of background, basically says if you would like to opt out of a public school, your family can take a portion of what the state was going to spend on you as a student, put that in an account for you, and now you can use that for your education. If you want to go to a private school, if you want to put that toward tutoring, if you want to pursue at-home education, this will help with curriculum and textbooks. So essentially, the ESA provides maximum accountability and control and flexibility for that family, right? The parent looks at this and says, do I think this educational opportunity is serving my child? If so, I'm going to put my ESA dollars toward it, and if not, I'm going to go somewhere else. So this program has been on the books for about 10 years. Again, it's a Goldwater developed program that now has taken off across the country. And this year, we saw Arizona finally pass universal eligibility for the ESA program. So instead of only about a quarter of Arizona students being eligible, now every single Arizona student in K through 12, just like they are eligible for a public school, is now eligible if they would like to instead participate in the ESA program. So the way legislation works in Arizona, there's a 90-day window where essentially the legislation is set to take effect in September. And so that's something that we're looking forward to. There are, of course, groups that actively oppose school choice. They oppose parental rights, and they don't believe that parents should be able to have the flexibility to direct their students' education outside of the public school system, fighting tooth and nail to try to block implementation of this. But I think we've seen, especially in the wake of COVID-19, families are eager for options. They do not want to ever be put in the position again of saying, we're sorry, your school is closing to in-person instruction, or we're sorry, your student's only allowed to come to school, if they're wearing a mask or participating in all of these policies and protocols that aren't even necessarily helping their education. In many cases are actually to their detriment. And so I think what we're seeing now is a huge groundswell of support for programs like the ESA, not only in Arizona, but I think we're likely to see that replicated in other states in the spring. Well, I referenced the NEA a moment ago, the National Education Association, the nation's largest teachers union, which has committed itself to an ideological agenda. And again, they have the strongest power over our traditional district school system. And so for parents who are concerned about the content that's going into the classroom, I think what you see is school choice and academic transparency. Policies like these are actually complements for each other, right? You cannot tell students you have nowhere to go, you are forced to you have to go to a public school, and you're going to learn what it is we tell you, and it's going to involve things like the 1619 Project, CRT, Ibram Kendi. So by providing school choice, you've now actually given parents an escape hatch, right? You've given them a policy that says, if you are not satisfied with this content and you think your student can do better, again, whether it's academically or looking for content that's not politically charged, a la the district schools in a lot of cases, school choice provides that alternative. However, most parents still opt into the traditional public school system, right? Arizona has a very robust charter school system. We have almost 20% of our kids in public charter schools. But at the end of the day, most families still are attending public schools. They're often in their neighborhood. They may have grown up going there. And so at the end of the day, parents, if they're going to navigate this process, also need to have that ability to make an informed decision. And so the idea of academic transparency says, sure, you may have the freedom to go to a private school or to do at-home education, but also in order for you to evaluate that and know what your public schools are actually even offering, academic transparency says you're going to be able to see those. And if public schools insist on pushing political materials, they know, well, those parents are not trapped in your school. They can now take that information they have that they got through the academic transparency legislation and now go to a school or a schooling environment that's going to be more aligned with their values, that's going to be more academically rigorous, that's going to work better for their student.